Guys, I'm gonna get a little out of your comfort zone, a little out of my comfort zone. We're gonna talk about something a little bit personal today. Normally I'd welcome you back, but today I'm just Tucker, and I want to stress that because what we're gonna talk about is something that I have had to go through, and I'm sure millions of other people have either tried and failed going through or are still yet to go through. And I want to make it easier for you guys to lay out kind of an outline or a roadmap, if you will, on how best you can achieve the things that you want, achieve your goals, and also achieve the goals of those that are trying to help you progress in the correct direction in your life. And also for you to, not come out too poorly with this idea and then ruin it for yourself for a very long time. Let's get into how best you can talk to your parents or even coworkers or spouses about achieving the goal of being a professional gamer or just a professional streamer or content creator, if you will. So this might get a little awkward. First of all, last week's video, I do want to make a correction. Last week, I talked about a OBS plugin that you guys can install on your setup that allows you to have a move transition. And I want to clarify what I did in the video because I actually showed you guys the motion effect plugin and not the actual plugin that I should have shown you guys. So please go ahead and make sure that you know which plugin you're using. It is not called the motion effect, which I mentioned. It is actually called move transition. I have the correct link down in the description already fixed, but just so you guys know, let's get into the awkward part of the video. First of all, what I want to stress about when you have this conversation at first is that you guys want to make sure that you do a little bit of homework or a bit of research, and that you guys don't just jump into the conversation sporadically out of, either tensions getting high or emotions running strong. This needs to be a conversation that needs to be had at the right time. And there's no one way to have this conversation, obviously. I want to make sure that you guys do your research, your homework, because just like we do here for these videos, we do a lot of research, we do a lot of homework in order for us to give you the most accurate information possible before we throw something together and then edit it and put it up live for you guys to watch. But what I want to make sure is that you guys have some prep work done already. So if questions arise, you'll be able to put a hand on it and be able to adjust the conversation into the right direction, or, address concerns early on. I think the most important thing is to break a stereotype. When you say, I want to be a professional gamer, mom and dad, or I want to be a live streamer, or I want to make YouTube content, you need to break the stereotype that this is not just you sitting in your basement or in your room for hours and hours and hours on day just playing video games. It's not what it is. Even if you're trying to become a professional, like a professional CSGO player or professional Fortnite player or professional Rocket League player, professional Call of Duty player, this is not just you sitting in your room hours and hours and hours on end with no goal in mind, just having fun with no benefit, no direction, no goals set. That's the stereotype you need to break. And you do that by telling them of the plan that you have set out. So again, when doing your homework, make sure that you do have some kind of plan set out for this, that you can break that stereotype easy, and that you'll be able to educate them on other people who have already done this with or without the help of their loved ones, but have become successful. This is the one I want to stress the most. Make sure that you guys do your homework on the people that have not made it, because typically it's because they've done something but they have not made it, or they haven't done anything. You need to make sure that you set the correct goals, that you guys aren't cutting any corners, and that you guys are educating yourselves to make sure that you're doing what is necessary. A lot of the time, parents and other people will get uncomfortable and uneasy when you tell them about this particular topic. It's not a comfortable one because times are changing and this is not the way that your parents grew up. It's not. 20 years ago, people wanted to be maybe a professional basketball player or a professional football player, something along those lines, but it's not the same as that. If you want to become a professional player, it is like that you'll have to spend hours and hours and hours perfecting your craft. But you want to make sure that you are pushing for those goals, because if you're not and you don't even notice it, that's sad to begin with, but other people will notice it, like teammates or organization owners or team owners. They will notice that. Talking to your parents and relating it to you playing for hours and hours on end in your basement to somebody like Kobe Bryant, they're not going to understand that right away. Everybody perfects their craft, but you need to make sure that you are pushing in the correct direction and doing this properly. Otherwise, they're just going to look at you like you're striving to be some homeless kid living in your parents' basement until you're 40 years old. It's not the idea. The idea is for you to be able to get on a team, to go to tryouts and be able to make a statement in the scene, in the community, for a team, and that you need to put yourself out there in order to do so. Sometimes kids don't have the raw talent. I didn't have the raw talent to be able to be a professional competitive player, and that's why I wound up wanting to make YouTube content videos. And after I've learned a bit about what kind of the competitive side is like, I'm not that interested in it anyway. I'd rather be doing this. This is much more comfortable for me. I want to be able to help the community grow. What are your goals? What do you want to do? I don't think that being a famous streamer or famous YouTuber is a realistic goal at this time if you're just starting out. Maybe a 20-year goal or a 10-year goal, but these are the kinds of things that parents want to see. They want to see you strive for other things. And I wouldn't say that dropping out of school is the correct idea. It's not. If anything, I would take advantage of what you're going to school for. If you want to go to college, that's great. I went for a couple semesters. Wasn't for me. I learned by doing. I would recommend you do the same. We put out, and there are so many other content creators that put out great information for you to learn, that going to college or university, I think that the only things that aren't really on YouTube that can't be taught on YouTube that you're going to have somebody helping you with personally is more along the lines of marketing or market strategies. That's something that you need to learn from somebody else. You need to strive at it the best way that you see fit, because I won't have the best input for you specifically. What we're trying to do here is something pretty general, but it's very, very essential if you ever want to get to this specific point of creating content or being a professional gamer. Let's get into the actual talk that you're going to have with your parents. I mean, at first, let's say you find that right time to sit down. You have goals laid out, roadmap laid out. You've done some research. You know what it takes to be a professional gamer, or you know what it takes to be a pro streamer. And this is your time. This is an actual meeting, whether you know it or not. This is going to be your most important meeting of your entire life, whether you become successful or not. If you become successful and you talk with other large brands, this is the most important meeting. You need to prepare for it. When you get into this, sit them down and you start with this conversation. And really, there is no easy way to get into it. So just lay it out and tell them that you know that this is uncomfortable, or you know that it is something that is not going to be easy to talk about, but that you have a plan and you're trying to find out whether or not they will be supportive of that. This is a direction that I want to take. It's not just a game to me. It's not an addiction, not even close. And it all depends on your will and your actual skill as a player. Before you put yourself through the ringer, be honest with yourself if you can play like that or not. If you're doing streaming, you should be focused on how to grow your audience. The last thing you want to tell your parents is that you are quitting school or you're dropping out because you want to be a professional gamer. That's not the direction. And trust me, if you are going to school and you have that benefit of going to college, use it. Go for marketing. Go for freaking storytelling or English. Go for public speaking and communication. Those are the things that are essential to you. Your parents would prefer that you get and continue your education, and it is more beneficial for you to do so. This stuff can be learned on your own, like I did, but I don't recommend that. It takes way too much time. You need to focus on what you want to do. If you want to talk about lighting, go check out our video on lighting. If you want to know about audio works, go check our video out on audio, on choosing a different microphone, or choosing which microphone you want to start using, their budget. So you want to make sure that the other most important thing is that your physical health is in check. It is not beneficial for you to be walking around campus stuffing your face with Cheetos and ramen noodles only. You know, you need to have some sort of balanced diet. So you need to make sure that most of your budget, if you're at school, it is on that. You need to make sure that you're working out for at least 30 minutes a day, getting some kind of physical activity. And you need to make sure that you're eating right. You're gonna find that you don't get as good sleep. You're gonna start to hinder in your classes. Your stream's gonna hinder. Your whole life is gonna be on a hindrance because you're running on freaking Cheetos. Don't do that to yourself. A box of pasta is almost just as costly as a cup of ramen noodles, and it takes an extra 2 to 3 minutes to make, but it's not worth it to eat the ramen that's nasty. I know that's like the go-to though. I've lived on it, so I can't be that judgmental if that's what you want to do, but that's just my suggestion. You need to eat healthy. You need to get better sleep. You need to get more sleep. You need to get enough sleep is the key thing. 6 to 8 hours. And I say 6 to 8 hours, not like you can run daily on 6 hours of sleep. 6 hours is like bare minimum because your life is going to start hindering as soon as you drop below like a 7-hour threshold. 6 to 8 hours every day. So focus on your mental health, your physical health, because if you're gonna actually do this, you don't want any part of it to be hindering. Yes, just like any of us, any YouTuber out there, any streamer out there, they only have 24 hours in a day to do it too. Any professional gamer, they only got 24 hours to do this. So we all need to make sure that we're getting enough sleep, because the people that aren't, they're hindering themselves. They're not gaining any kind of advantage. Trust me. Their work, their quality, everything about what they're doing is going to be a hindrance. It's not worth it. Especially now if you're doing any kind of learning or you're in the process of learning how to do this better. This next one I want to talk about is something that I have recently gone through and that I'm still going through today. And this is about if you're married or you're together with somebody, especially if you have kids, your number one priority is them. That's it. It is them. It should always and forever be them. So if this is a hindrance and you're not at the point where you can put money into this, if you don't have time to do it, then you shouldn't be. You need to put the time that is needed towards your family, towards your education. That's where you need to be. The time for this will come. It will. You're going to be able to progress further enough into your career to be able to do something like this. That doesn't mean that you should never play video games. That doesn't mean that you should never do things that allow you to relax. When you need to be able to put your family first, it's not all about you. It's not all about your video games. Jason, do you like video games? You like Link? You like Zelda? What other games you play? The running game? Yeah.
There's a bunch of games.
Yeah, I like to play games too, right? They're the number one priority. If you can't be the breadwinner that you need to be in your family, then you need to set your priorities straight. That's just how it is. You're not going to be able to do this right away or do this right now, but that doesn't mean that you can't play games. I would suggest playing games off stream or off videos anyways. You need to set your priorities straight. That's bottom line. You can be passionate about this. I recommend that you push for this as your dream job. You don't push for this as a hobby. This isn't a hobby. If you don't want this to be a hobby, then it's not going to be a hobby. If you want this to be a hobby, that's all it's ever going to be. Do what you need to do in order to push for your dream job. Whether you're in high school or in middle school or you're at college, set your priorities straight. Educate yourself. Do what you can, but never stop pushing for that dream, ever. Because it very, very, very well is possible. You have that potential, so do not sell yourself short in the slightest. Push for it. And I think that the best idea for you is just that. It's not a dream, it's a reality one day. So keep pushing for it. And if you guys ever want to talk about this, or if you ever have any questions, or about how I can help you push your setup, your situation along further, push yourself ahead of where you are, if you seem like you're plateauing, or whatever it may be, if you have questions, if you have concerns, streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and most of the time on Saturdays. Monday, Wednesday, 6 to 10, Friday, Saturday, 7:30 to like midnight Eastern. So if you guys ever have any questions, come talk to me on there. Follow me on Twitter, ask questions on there. I'm on that too much for my own good. As always, keep busy. We'll see you in the next one.
Bro, the desync made it look like you died. Oh, some more people.
Oh.
One more person, Tux. You got it.
Let's go! Let's go!
That dude got knocked off the map.
Ah!
Because I wasn't there.